Boise, Idaho is one of the fastest growing cities in the country right now. We're about 4.5 hours away from Boise. Average annual snowfall in Boise is about 31 inches. We get about 55 inches. I've never lived anywhere in my life that is so mesmerizing with natural beauty. The mountains, the creeks, the rivers are exceptional. If your life does not require you to leave the pavement, Idaho could be a place for you. I've told people many times, it's the best kept secret in the country. But at the same time, there's a reason why my dad moved from Idaho to Arizona. He said he never wanted to shovel snow again. He never wanted to milk cows when his hands were frozen. When my dad was 16, my grandfather moved his family from our ranch in southeastern Idaho to Mesa, Arizona. From the time I was old enough to understand, I wanted to come back to southeastern Idaho. But this time of year can cause me to question just what the heck I'm doing. I saw 3 days of snow on the forecast, but I also saw it was pushing 40 degrees on Monday. I watched the snow begin to melt away, and then on Tuesday we got almost another foot of snow. That wet, nasty, sloppy snow underneath a fresh foot of snow began to create problems. I decided somewhere in the middle of this that I would rebuild the carburetor on the plow truck. I thought I had everything figured out. Tuesday morning, I reinstalled the carburetor. I began to plow the road, and I realized I'd bitten off more than I could chew. The plow truck is sitting about a half a mile away from the ranch, sitting in the middle of the road. It's either out of gas or something's off with the carburetor. I played around with the carb for a minute, trying to dial it in, and cranked it over, and it was running the battery down, so I just stopped and walked up to the ranch, and I'll have to grab the excavator and drive down there and use the excavator to tug it back up here. It was running good. It was actually doing real good. I got it in 4 low. It was really moving the snow, but there's just so much snow at this point. because I didn't get it plowed yesterday, and we got probably close to a foot of snow yesterday, and we got another foot on top of that, but it was so mushy and so nasty yesterday that now I'm dealing with just excessively heavy snow. So anyway, there was actually somebody behind me trying to get up here. I turned around or I told them that there was no way they were going to get past my plow truck. So anyhow, I got to figure this out. You know, there's just no easy way to deal with this stuff. I feel like again and again and again, the right way to deal with this amount of snow is to be plowing when it's snowing, plowing in the middle of these storms. But because I pulled the carb off yesterday and rebuilt the carb, now I'm dealing with the consequences. So I'm going to hurry up and eat a can of soup and take my jug of water and jump in the excavator and run down there and see if I can't get it back.
When a neighbor decided to drive their van up the road, it started a chain of events that would lead to a very long day. Naturally, they got stuck fairly quickly, which wouldn't have been a big deal, but I couldn't get to them. I had to get the plow truck out of the way first. Using the excavator, I dragged the plow truck up out of the road, and I found a spot that was wide enough where I could move a little bit of snow and get around the plow truck. Our neighbor got stuck over and over and over again until I finally found a spot that I could plow wide enough where they could turn around. Later that afternoon, I knew I needed a little bit of help, so I ran into town and got my son Rhett. In the process of getting the plow truck running again, the front U-joints on the driveline snapped. We again had to use the excavator to tow it up to the house. By the time we got the truck up here, it was so late that I simply left the truck and went home. But I was worried at how badly damaged the plow truck was. This plow truck was used on a car lot north of Salt Lake for 10 years. The ground was flat, and I'm guessing the truck wasn't worked very hard. As a matter of fact, when I got this truck, it was in two-wheel drive. They hadn't even been plowing snow in four-wheel drive. It didn't have chains on it. After putting chains on it, getting it in four-wheel drive, making a few repairs to it, it worked well. When I stay on top of the snowstorms, the plow truck does fine. But because of how warm and how wet that snow was, combined with nearly another foot of snow on top of that, the plow truck just couldn't handle it. The moral of the story is, like my old scoutmaster said, be prepared and quit crying, because your mom's not coming to get you. I got the driveline pulled off of the plow truck. I got to run into town and see if it's fixable. I suppose I could go over to the junkyard and do a little shopping over there, but before I do that, I want to see if this one's in a position to be fixed. But it's not as damaged as I thought it was. When it came apart, it sounded like a train wreck, which naturally happens when it's bumping against the bottom of the cab.
Yesterday was a heck of a day with everything that went wrong, but it's really not as bad of a repair as I thought it was. So I want to get it figured out if I can. We have 3 more days of snow coming in. I've got everything cleaned up and ready to go. I'm hoping that I can spend the rest of the afternoon getting this drive line fixed, and then I can get back to the upstairs electrical and not have to worry about the plow truck. I need something that's going to just start and be ready to go to work when it's time to go to work. I'm not sure if this truck is it. As much as I've enjoyed having it around and playing with it, I probably should find either a 3/4 ton or a 1 ton truck and not a 1/2 ton. I would also love to find a wider blade instead of the 7-foot 6-inch blade. I would love to find an 8-foot or even an 8.5-foot blade, plow blade. So I may start looking for a truck to piece together. But this again just kind of confirms that up here you just don't know. You know, we have to be prepared for everything. I still think we should have a couple of snow machines sitting around just in case. But I'm going to go in and see what I can do with the drive line and then get back up here tomorrow and get to work, hopefully on the upstairs electrical.